Hi, my name is Jamil. I'm a veteran esoteric researcher, and today I'm going to give people advice and tips on how to avoid getting caught up if they're experiencing a phenomenon known as gang stalking. I've had people emailing me and leaving me comments, and this is something I go through day to day. And so my goal is to be able to give people some advice to help them get through whatever sort of obstacle they feel they're getting through. One of the things is this: a lot of people have misconceptions about what's going on when they're getting gang stalked. There's people who actually believe that there's people reading their minds. There's people who believe they're under some sort of advanced hypnosis and all this stuff. One thing somebody taught me a while back was about these phones. If you have this phone around you, even if this is just a flip phone, I have all different sorts of phones. I got the Android phone and all that stuff. But if you have one of these phones around you, your audio is going to be picked up. So if I go over to somebody's house and I set this phone down on the table and I have a conversation with somebody, my audio is susceptible to being intercepted through the audio interface on this phone. Therefore, when I leave the house and I go back out into the world and I communicate with people and I talk to people, a conversation I had with somebody at their house, while my phone's not on, it's just on the table, that can be used to mimic me in some sort of way. And it's going to lead me to believe, oh my God, somebody can read my mind. Or such and such is telling everything I'm talking about. I thought a good friend of mine was telling what we were talking about when that wasn't the truth. I learned through the audio import on this phone, my voice was being picked up, and the things I was saying was being used to do like street theater and different sorts of assignments against me. So if somebody thinks they're going crazy or they're hearing stuff, people are reading their minds or stuff, that's not the case. There's people out there who can use this technology. Okay, now getting back to these phones. Okay, so you have a cell phone, a basic flip phone. So if you take this phone and you set it down somewhere at somebody's house on the table like this, and you're speaking with them, your audio can be picked up through this phone. And individuals could be listening to what you're saying in order to eavesdrop on you, ear hustle. And if I'm having a conversation with somebody and I'm saying, hey, you remember such and such, Paul did this, Paul did that? Well, guess what? Now, when I leave the house and I go out into the world, I don't have to take the cell phone with me. But when I go back out, that audio is going to be listened to. And they may find they may actually find Paul or somebody that looks like Paul to now do the assignments they want done. So a lot of people are thinking somebody's reading my mind. Um, they know no, your audio is being picked up. Now that's more of like an advanced, I guess you could say it's advanced form of the assignments or whatever. Most people don't seem to get that. I picked up on this because I was having conversations with a friend of mine, and I was noticing people doing assignments on me that were directly reflective of our conversations. And so I was thinking, she's going back and she's saying things to whoever's asking her to do the assignments. it turns out, but the woman, she was drunk a lot of the times I was around her. And so I'm thinking, if she was drinking, this was a while back. This was a long time ago. But I'm thinking, if she was drunk, how is she able to deliver this information so accurately? So somebody could be using it for an assignment. And I really made me think, how is this happen? This doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. And then I really thought about it. It's the phones. Then I would purposely say things around my phone and then watch the assignments happen based on what I was saying around my phone. And that's how I learned what was going on. Take it a step further. You don't have to use your phone. You can go meet somebody. Sometimes I'd leave my phone at home. And I would go and I'd meet her and we'd be talking. And then the same thing would occur again. And I realized the people who are doing the assignments, they can use others' phones if they know you're in the vicinity of the person. So these phones, I think the phones are one of the most dangerous things around. A phone can be used in many different ways against you. There's people who go around having private conversations around these phones, and these phones are being used in a way. And it doesn't matter who the person is. It doesn't matter what the profession is or whoever they think they are. If they have a phone, somebody can be listening to the audio through the phones. So if you're going through gang stalking and you're noticing you're being mimicked and you're experiencing street theater and these different types of things, and you're finding your conversations being used against you that type of way, look for a phone. Is there a phone around? That's number one. So a lot of times, I don't even know if you take the battery out, does it really matter? I don't know. It's possible that, I guess this would be pretty advanced, but I guess it's possible that somebody could actually power the phone on in some sort of way, remotely or something. I don't know. I don't have that kind of knowledge to know if that can be done or not. But I think it used to be if your battery level was going down, that was a sign that there was something going on with your cell phone. If you were losing battery too fast. But in today's world, with all the modern stuff, I don't really know. I've never saw the technology in person. But I have. So that's number one right there. I just want so people, when you go out into the world and you're going around speaking to people, just know your phone could be used against you to do these assignments, and no one's reading your mind, something like that. I think that goes into saying for a lot of different types of technology can be used in that way. Television sets, the new television sets are much like computers. Everything is computerized. And so a lot of devices have this ability to do this to you. Now, when it comes back to the term quote unquote gang stalking, I don't really like to use that. It's sort of like an umbrella term. It doesn't really mean much. And when people hear it, they say gang stalking, it sounds silly. It doesn't really, it sounds like something sci-fi or something like that. I think it scares people away from looking into it. So, but audio and visual are the two things that are used on an individual when it comes to assignments. So, I could go out to around a group of people, and an outside source will come through these people and give them some sort of story and say, listen, we would like you to wear a red shirt, and when this person's walking right here, go outside. Or they'll just tell them to go outside. So I'll be walking out the street, and somebody will walk out of their house wearing a red shirt. Then I may get to the end of the street, and somebody else may walk out of their house wearing a red shirt. So if I go back to another source and tell them what's happening to me, the first thing that's going to come up is, are you paranoid? Do you have some sort of mental illness? Have you taken any drugs lately? You know what I mean? It's because if they approach these people, the people are going to have two different stories. One person was told to do it for one reason, and it was explained to them in a certain way. Then the other person might have been told for one reason and do it and explained to them in a certain way. So you're coming across two individuals who have two different stories as to why they're doing this, and 9 times out of 10, they're not going to know who you are or what gang stalking is. So you can approach the individual and say, hey, yeah, I'm being gang stalked, and blah, 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 blah. And they're not going to know what you're talking about. They'll know what they did for their assignment, but they're not going to know necessarily what gang stalking is. And then when they look it up, it's probably going to scare them, and then they're really not going to want it. You know what I mean? And they're going to be kind of spooked a little bit about it. So going out into the world and interacting with different sorts of people and going to certain places, that's what's used, visual. So visual is number one. So the red, red, are there be green shirts or yellow shirts or blue shirts? It's a system of color coding. It usually operates in threes. So, walking on the street, I see the two red shirts. And then when I get to the end of the street, you may see a car go by with somebody wearing a red shirt driving the car. And this is something that most people who go through gang stalking are experiencing. There's like thousands of people on YouTube talking about it. Statistically, there are numbers saying it has happened to millions of people around the world. But on the high rate of it being visual, this intense gang stalking where you're seeing the colors, I don't know. I don't think there's any real statistics on it. But I do know there's thousands of people on the internet who keep saying that this is happening to them over and over and over again, and nobody knows each other. Everybody's saying the same exact thing. Then they're filming it. Then there's actually people who have been asked to do it, who are coming out and saying they've been asked to do it. So if it's a mass paranoia or mass hypnosis, like, that would defy, like, just reason and logic. I mean, it would defy any sort of medical agenda. People say, this person has a mental illness or whatever, and there's something wrong. It wouldn't make sense. It really wouldn't make sense. So, and then you got to take into account this. Everybody's being observed. You're in an area where there's we're in an era of time where there's satellites everywhere. So it's not that these people are all in collusion stalking you. They're being asked to do assignments, and it's being done on a timely basis. So there's constant minor adjustments. So if I walk into an area, somebody may be through the cell phone technology, a Facebook app or a different sort of form of communication through technology will be used to recruit somebody to do these different assignments. And then at that point, it's going to look like, oh my God, I'm being stalked, and you're going to start panicking. And then I've had this conversation with somebody, and now these people are out there doing this, or people reading my mind. It causes a very disturbing type of panic in the life of an individual. And that's what most people going through this. If you have no idea in the world that this is being done in a patterned way, and you never even heard of gang stalking, it's going to be extremely frightening, especially for somebody who, you think it can be done in a way to where they're trying to use your own fears against you. The people who are utilizing the gang stalking, they might have some sort of intention to make you think that somebody's really after you that's not after you, or make you think something's happening that's not happening, and it's going to set off other fears within you. Now you're really going to be tripping. You're really going to be tripping. And so there's a psychological, I can't even come up with the word, a psychological dynamic to it. It's very complex and very, bewildering. The level of confusion that's going on while you're doing it. And, it's been happening to me for almost 3 years. And just to speak to people and tell them about it is crazy, because they usually don't know what you're talking about. Even though they're asked to do the assignments, a lot of times they're unaware of it, and then they're not going to want to admit that they've done anything wrong. So it's a big, it's a big mesh. Okay, visual, and then audio. Now, oftentimes, they will mix these two together, but you have the visual, the colors. And with visual comes mimicking, like I talked about. When I said Paul, we're talking about Paul. More of somebody's house talking about Paul. My cell phone's lying there. Then they're going to find out, who is Paul? I may have the number of Paul in my phone. So somehow they're going to find out what Paul looks like, who Paul is. Now you got the mimicking thing. Then there's street theater. And the more that this stuff is tied into who you are psychologically as a person, the more effective it is. to use people who fit different certain descriptions, stuff like that. And so that's sort of the whole visual. Now the audio, okay, audio. So you can have somebody following somebody in a car, and they may play a certain song. Then, somebody's following me, and they're playing a certain song in their car. Now I go over to another side of town. And it doesn't have to be the same person. It can be somebody else playing the same song. Now, put in the red shirt. So now it's somebody playing the same song with the red shirt, or the same song, same red shirt, and then on the other side of town, it can be a totally different person wearing the same red shirt, and they might even look like the first person intentionally, or they might not, and they're playing the same song. So now if you mix the visual and audio together, the visual and the audio is now mixed together. Then there's another factor, electronic. So there's actual electronic weapons that can be used on people. I don't know too much about how that works. I know more gang stalking from the effect of being followed by people using the visual techniques and the audio techniques. But I've had the same thing, electronic weapons. I've had my food drugged, many times. And that was a panicking situation because I had never taken like an intense drug like what that was. I don't know if it was a psychiatric drug. I don't know what it was. But I was sitting there and I ingested this drug. And I'm eating through a restaurant. And so it was networked through the restaurant for me to have this drug in my food. And so I'm eating this drug in my food. And now I'm under the influence of a drug that I don't know what it is. So now I'm really panicking. Then you got people with the different colors and you're being followed and all this stuff. It creates a really disconnected state for an individual. Really tripped out state for an individual who's going through this. Then if you're going through this every single day, mind you, these assignments don't just happen here and there. They're happening around you at a constant, depending on how high the level is that you're going through it. It's happening around you constantly. So I'm out in the world walking around, and I constantly have an influx of people coming and going to assignments. I remember a time in my life where I could walk down the street, and it'd be in a rural area, and cars would come like they were going to hit me, kill me, big cars, big trucks, vans. And they would be coming, and they would turn off right before. And when it first started happening, I was panicking because I'm thinking, I'm going to die. That's what was entering my mind. I'm going to die. And lo and behold, I didn't die. And so they would come and they would turn off. And when it first started happening, I was panicking. I remember one time it was a big truck, and it was coming fast. They were trying to install fear within me. This was happening at a constant rate. They were trying to install a fear within me. And as they were trying to install this fear within me, my body's naturally trying to move out of the way. Like, have you ever seen the kamikazes in World War II? I don't care how brave they were. A lot of them at the last minute would always move. They would turn their plane and go into the water a lot of the time. It's just a natural reaction. Same thing with these. I'm gonna put that the same thing with these trucks. They were coming, and I wanted to keep walking straight. A lot of time I would jitter, like scared. Then I learned to face that fear. And as I'm facing that fear, and that fear's coming at me, I'm still going strong, then they would move. Then I felt a feeling of power from that I faced that fear. And this would happen a lot. I mean, I'd go out right now and it'd still happen. Nothing's changed. But I would purposely walk. This was in the daytime. Lo and behold, it could have just been a drunk driver one of those times. And I could have been wrong, and I wouldn't be here today. But this would happen constantly, and in the daytime, there's a system used called brightening. Again, it's visual. Cars use their headlights in broad daylight. Also, the brights on the car, not just the headlights, because a lot of new cars, the headlights come on automatically. But these could be cars from like the 70s, 60s, 50s doing it with their brights on. The newer cars sometimes, they would have their parking lights on. Parking lights don't come on automatically. So I'm seeing this stuff, and I'm realizing these are assignments. People are being asked to do these things. And so I'm starting to learn how to cope with this. I'm going out into the world, I'm walking down the street, I'm dealing with my food being drugged, I'm dealing with people acting like they're going to swerve and do this to me, do this, that to me. I've had people think like it was some sort of altercation that was more than it was. Like maybe this person had a gun or something like that. And I don't know of anybody, I don't know how people who go through gang stalking, what kind of panic situation they've been through. But when you're in a situation like that and you feel like you're pitted in, it's a lot of pressure. All I can describe it, I don't think very many people go through those types of levels of pressure. And so the gang stalking, it can be somebody who looks like they got a problem with you for whatever reason. Who knows? And it's organized in that manner. Walking down the street, they will purposely put people in front of you. Sometimes they'll have people bump into you or faint like they usually don't do that, but sometimes they faint like that to create an altercation. Then they'll make it look like other people got a problem with you and stuff. And so it depends on the circumstance. I'm more relaxed with my perspectives on it now after going through it for so many years. But there you go. So with the brights on, that's visual. Then you have the audio thing with the cars too. Some of the cars, they may find somebody who looks a certain type of way, they'll drive by you and honk their horn. Then that may happen, routinely. And so now that's audio mixed in with, they got the brights on the car, the visual, the colors and stuff like that. So again, if you go out and you tell somebody about this, the first thing that's going to come up is they're going to ask you, are you paranoid? Are you tripping? Like, are you psychologically okay? Are you under any drugs? Have you been drinking? Yada, yada, yada. But continuously, many people are coming out with the same story. I had somebody I known for many years approach me and tell me, they said, look, man, somebody was paying us to follow you around and wear red shirts and do all this stuff to make sure you're not doing anything educational or work related. You got food stamps coming and all this stuff. So that's our job, but they never showed us any business card. They never showed us anything. They just gave us a restaurant, prepaid credit cards, a restaurant, or cash, or whatever, to do these assignments, and they told us this is the reason why it was happening. So they didn't know what gang stalking was. They weren't aware of what gang stalking was. They just knew they were being asked to do this. They didn't know I was being drugged. They didn't know I had to deal with cars almost hitting me. They didn't know how agitational it is to go somewhere and have several different people doing all this. They're just knowing it from their perspective. So a lot of times it's your delivery, figuring out how this stuff is happening, learning what it means to you, and being able to deliver it to people in a way they understand. But my advice would be to people, number one, don't look for any type of individual to step in and say, okay, I'm going to help you. I can do something about it. No one's going to do that. Nobody's going to step in and stop anybody from following you around. Where you would think that's how it works. You would think that's how it works, but that's not how it works. That's not how it works. No one's going to do that. So, best thing you can do is to collect data if you can. Like if you can capture stuff on your phone, if you can keep records of it, if you can have conversations with people and they'd be willing to tell you exactly what's going on. I had a woman contact me one time through email, and she explained to me that she was approached at a shopping center and given $100 to change her hair color and to wear certain color clothes and to follow people. Not me, but other people. Now, she didn't even know what gang stalking was. She went online and started looking at the things she was being asked to do. Then she discovered what it was. Later, she's told me that they would contact her through a smoking advertisement on the telephone and then explain to her. Then she knew that was her cue. Then they would explain to her the instructions on what to do. So she would change her hair color, certain colors, go out and follow people with the headlights on the car, do all this stuff. The people who do these things, and then she told me, and again, she told me she was scared to talk about it. She said she was emailing me anonymously, and she was scared to talk over the phone about it because she felt they were watching her, and she felt they might start doing it to her if they knew she was out there talking to teaching people about it. So, again, the people who are doing this sorts of stuff at whatever level, they're under a certain perception of what they're doing, and they feel very protected by the system, by that system, to whatever depends on to what degree they're doing it. But a lot of times they feel very protected by it. So again, I would give my advice: don't associate with that. Don't associate with any individual that's doing that to you, or try to make like some sort of bond with that person, or contact with that individual. If somebody is doing this stuff to you, they're not your friend. They're not your friend. If you feel that the person like is open to talking to you about it, that's different. But I'm trying to help people when I say, like getting caught up. Don't get caught up in anything like that. Those people are not your friends, and you don't want to associate with anybody who's involved in anything like that anyway. Stay as far away from it as you can. Now, what I would recommend to people is getting more involved in the spiritual nature of the world, and getting more involved in pulling your energy out away from being in cities, crowds where there's a lot of people. That's a sheep mentality. A lot of people aren't looking at this properly. It's like people don't want to be people want to be a warden in the jail instead of they want a better position within it, in the world. They're looking at all these stuffs going, people want a higher position within it. That's a sheep mentality. And if you're an individual who's getting gang stalked, especially at the levels that I've received it over time, that means you're somebody who has the ability on some level to get things cracking. And somebody somewhere knows that. They know there's something about you, there's something within you, there's something going on where you can get stuff. You're not blind. They know you have the ability to get stuff cracking, and they don't want that. So they're putting this on you to detour you. It's a form of detouring you. So recognize that. Recognize that. And try to stay more away from it. I used to come out with a lot of strategies on how to teach people how to deal with gang stalking. And basically it was simple. You just walk up to the person, tell them who you are, tell them what gang stalking is, talk, and to be honest with you, it does have an effect. It does work really well to some degree. But to do it on a constant basis and try to integrate yourself and do it every single day with a mass amount of people is going to drain you of energy. The average person in society is a sleepwalker. They don't know where they're at, and they don't know what's going on. They don't know the history of society. They don't know the history of the planet. Their mind track will go back 5 years at the most. They don't know how things work. They're sleepwalkers. And there's people out there who know that, and they can give them an old restaurant discount coupon or some prepaid credit cards and make them hop up and jump around and do tricks and all that stuff. And you know what I mean? Not being disrespectful, but I'm just saying that's how it is. So if you're a conscious person and you can see through things and you know what's going on and you have awarenesses, and you're spiritual, you got to distance yourself from those people and those things. That's a world within itself. Like the scripture says, "Be in the world, but not of the world." I think that's what it says. So so I like to size people up when I go out. I can pretty much look at somebody and tell what types of things they've been through. Look at it. Just pay attention to people. Pay attention to the way they walk, the way they act. Just look at people. Just look at people. I can tell quickly if somebody was put in the same position that I had been put in, going through the stuff I went through. They wouldn't have made it. They wouldn't have done it. They wouldn't have made it. And so gravitate to strong people. Gravitate to spiritually strong people. Gravitate to people who got a center on themselves, who have appreciation for knowledge. People that you can try to build some sort of positive foundation with. Because it's not hard to get caught up in anything. There's a lot of weak, fake people out there who have no problem with selling themselves and selling you and selling everything. You know what I mean? Be careful who you associate with, or who if you're being followed by people and that stuff, try to stick to people you've been knowing for years. Stick to people you can trust and have around you, because it's not fun. I'm telling you, I know. I've been in situations. Boy, I remember I had my food drugged for a whole week one time. A whole week one time. A whole week. And I remember one time I was sitting at a restaurant, and even I laugh about it. You know what I mean? Looking back on it. But the people who drugged me, they thought it was funny. Yeah, somebody networked through the owners of the store to drug my food. I think about, how did they know I wouldn't have died from that, or had some sort of chemical thing, or they didn't. You know what I mean? And it makes me, like sometimes when I go through the gang stalking stuff, it makes me think of all the stuff that's happened to me. It makes me just think about it, all the stuff that's happened to me. I just think, like, why am I here trying to explain myself to people? Why am I here? You know what I mean? So that's what I mean. You try to withdraw your energy. You don't want to get angry. You don't want to get hostile. I think there's a lot of people out there who end up getting a weapon and hurting people, or they end up getting hurt themselves because they're confused about what's happening to them, and they're frustrated. They don't have people to talk to, and it's easy to get sucked into something. And I think that's what it's designed to do. I don't think the way however this stuff is working, I don't think they care too much about the people that they're using to do it. I think it's set up, it's the focus on the individuals happening to them. So I think there's a lot of people this stuff happens to, they don't even know what's happening to them. So that's, okay, now let me go back. The visual, the audio, um, what else? Visual, audio, the electronic. It's difficult. I hope this video reaches more people who actually know what I'm talking about, who are actually going. I think the only person who would really understand what I'm talking about is somebody who's going through it or has gone through it. Because you can sit back and chill, and it just keeps going on and on, and all these people keep doing, like, walking down the street, you have all these different people following you, doing all these assignments and stuff like that. And it's just like a big carnival. It just keeps going on and on and on and on and on. And so that's why I say distance yourself from it, distance yourself away from it. I'm trying to think. Visual, audio. You know, that's at the colors. But it's in the street theater. So there'll actually be people that will set up cell phone booths just to do assignments. I remember walking down the street and I'd have a jump rope. And I'd just be jump roping, jump roping, jump roping. I remember I'd be drugged. And as I was drugged, I was on my jump rope, still not letting it phase me. You know, talking to people. I remember I was passing out flyers, teaching people about my courses on it. I used to have courses for it and stuff like that, right? And people would set up cell phone booths just to do assignments. That's street theater. Or they would create a fake incident that didn't really exist, like two people arguing or whatever. There's all sorts of stuff they can come up with. And I'd be sitting there looking at that like, man, that's tripped out. That is really tripped out. Like, look at that. And there's no way you can really explain it to somebody who isn't going through it. You can videotape it and show people, and most people should be able to. Well, most people who are going through it will see it. But then if you explain to people what to look for who haven't heard of gang stalking, they'll know there's something going on. Eventually, they'll see something and know something's wrong. But this is the type of stuff that follows you. You can have ghosting. Ghosting is where somebody can come rearrange something. They can rearrange something that belongs to you, like they can do something outside of your house or something like that. They can come into your house and do something where they can flip something over or something like that, and so you see it. And then you say, oh my God, somebody's been in my house. Then a lot of people say, oh my God, I'm going to call the police. All right. And so people, they're gonna show up. Somebody's gonna show up and say, well, what are you talking about? Oh, this was flipped over. Oh, it's flipped over, huh? Are you sure? Is there something wrong with you? Are you psychologically okay? Are you on drugs? Have you been drinking? Are you under a stressful work situation? See what I'm saying? And so this type of stuff this type of stuff goes on over and over again, and people think they're tripping, they think they're hallucinating, yada yada yada. And there's really nothing wrong with them. They just think that they may be able to convince that there's something wrong with them, but there's nothing wrong with them. Thousands of people are coming online experiencing these same things. I used to film over and over and over again how, for one time, I don't know if I can find it anymore, but I was in an alley, and I was hanging out in the alley, and I'm filming on my phone a man walking at the end of the alley, and he was dressed like he was homeless. And he kept walking back and forth, and then, so I start walking down the alley. As I start walking down the alley, he sees me, he gets in his car and leaves, and he got like a brand new car. I'm thinking like, wait a minute, he pulled away in a brand new spanking car, but he was dressed like a bum? Like he had been living in warehouses or living in cardboard. But no, he was doing an assignment. He was asked to dress like that. He was just playing a role. And I wish I had showed the film. It'd be so funny if you saw it. It was just like a homeless bum looking guy. But then he has a brand new car and all this stuff. And it's like, oh, he was doing it. It's just fun. If you see the film, it's funny how the guy ran and jumped in this guy and got away. So anyhow, um, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. Tips and tricks. Just be kind to people. If you see people doing assignments on you, whatever you put out comes back. You reap what you sow. Laws of karma. So if you go out there and you're angry at people and you're yelling at people and flicking them off and stuff, it's not going to do you much good. That type of attitude isn't going to do you much good. You want to be respectful as you can. Most of these people aren't going to know who you are. They're not going to know anything about you if they're being asked to do whatever they're doing. So you try to be respectful to the people to whatever degree. But keep a log. Keep some, even if just videotapes on your phone, or you keep a journal or something, or you keep a dialogue going like on the internet, or you keep some sort of I don't know, awareness type. A lot of people out there involved in awareness groups, and they have people they can go to talk about this sort of stuff. That's one of the things you want, because there's no official source within society who's taking complaints on any of this stuff. Not that I know of. At least I don't think it exists. And so that's one of the things you gotta learn to look out for yourself. You know, you're getting your food drugged. You got people following you. You know, like all this stuff, and you know, my God, am I gonna be hit and killed? Or am I gonna do? You know, what I mean, you're going through hell, and you're going through a havoc situation, and all the systems that you would expect that you could go to, they may be the ones that some of them are, may not all of them, if not all, they may be the part of the ones doing it to you, or will do it to you at some point. So don't expect. So don't look out for yourself. Don't expect anybody to say that's not right. I'm going to do something to help that. That's not coming. That is not coming. Not from what I've seen. So. And you know the internet. See, one of the things that's like with these phones, like with these phones. Look at this. You go on these phones and see. I got a phone, right? Okay. I go on here and I start typing stuff and looking at stuff and communicating with people. The networks or the people or whoever they are setting up these gang stalking things. They're all watching you. They're all watching you. So if I meet somebody, especially if if I meet some, especially this is my experience, especially if it's a woman. This is how I know this stuff's bent on just agitation and harassment. If you go and you meet a new friend, say you meet a new friend, that person, depending on the level that you're being gang stalked at, that person is more than likely going to be asked to do assignments on you. And all this is set up as a form of psychological agitation. That's all it is. It's set up to distract you, to make you vulnerable, to make you irritable, to make you irrational, to make you behave in ways you normally wouldn't behave. And it's done routinely over time to develop you into the character of somebody who they can say, "Oh, look at this person. Look what's wrong with this person. Look at this." After it was systematically created to have that effect. So don't if you're speaking with somebody and you like the person, if they're doing this to you, they're not your friend. They are not your friend, and you don't want anything to do with them at all. Not at all. I had a woman I was speaking with, right? And she was doing assignments against me. And with her, I'm gonna have to make an exception because it was a situation where it was a situation where she was a drug addict. I didn't know she was on drugs. I didn't know. I didn't have that knowledge until a month afterwards. But it was through her that I learned how the gang stalking stuff works. She taught me how I'd watch her look at her phone, and we would pull into a gas station, and they would show her on the Google Maps. It'd be a Google Map setup that would a Google Map type app thing that would teach her where to go. And we would pull into a gas station, and they would be telling her to walk inside the store, to walk out of the store. And then when she was doing this, like 2 cars would come in at the same time. Then they'd be talking through her on Facebook and telling her to do different types of stuff. So it was kind of, you could say it was a negative experience, but at the same time it was a positive experience because it gave me the insights to learn. I'm learning, I'm picking up on stuff. I'm learning the rules as to how this stuff works. But it went hand in hand because the same person would come and pick me up right after they did assignments on me and stuff like that. So I learned a bunch of information. So it's not that bad. But I learned after that, don't deal with anybody who's doing assignments on you like that. You don't. That's how I feel about it myself. There was another woman that I met. This wasn't even that long ago. I met her on the internet. I didn't even meet her in person. I just met her on a computer. And the people who employ and network the gang stalking, I think it's various different people in various different groups. I don't think it's just one person, one group thing type thing. But I didn't even meet her. I was talking to her on the internet. And she kept saying, "You want me to come pick you up? You want me to come pick you up? You want me to come pick you up?" I'm like, "Yeah. I don't know. I can't say for. I only saw a couple of pictures of her, one picture on the internet, so I don't know. But I'm for sure they use the same woman to do assignments on me. Now, whatever they brought to her got her to not want to call or text me. Then she was doing assignments on me. So I'm looking at it like this. I'm one person. I'm one individual. What the hell are all these other people, grown adults, doing, trying to come in between a man's communication with a woman? That's strange. That's strange. A grown man can't even, without somebody coming in and saying, "Oh, here's some restaurant discount coupons, and you're following Jamila all day, and all that stuff." I'm like, I'm a grown man. I don't want to talk to the woman. I met her on the dating site. She said she was going to pick me up. Why does somebody have to step in and ask? They asked the woman through the technology, or maybe it was somebody at a workplace or whatever, gave her some line, and the next thing you know, that's how it works. So I'm looking at it like, this is really strange. That is really strange. But I did not tell her. I didn't tell her anything about gangs. I did not tell her that was going to happen. So ever since then, I come to the conclusion, if somebody emails me or means something, I'm gonna tell them way beforehand and let them decide what to do with it. Let them decide what to do with it. So now I found myself being followed and stalked by somebody I don't even know that was supposed to be coming to pick me up. What the hell is that? This is the sort of stuff you go through when you get gang stalked. An outsider's not going to get it unless they actually go through it. It's far different. When people are watching somebody getting gang stalked, they only see like a tenth of it, if that. They don't know what you go through for real. They have no idea in the world. If they do, they probably feel something. If it's somebody who's orchestrated, they probably have some little incentive to make them feel better, like some little power trip, or maybe it's something like, I don't know, maybe it's something like that. But it really makes you think, what the hell is a grown adult be contacting a woman and having her follow somebody around and stalk them? The person didn't even meet them. It doesn't make sense. It makes sense, but then it just sounds silly to me. It does anyway. So then I decided, well, okay, tell the individual what you're going through. So I was talking to another individual. I don't think they did do any assignments on me. To be honest with you, I don't know. If they did, I didn't notice it because I was just talking. I just know them from, like, I was talking to them on the internet and I saw their picture. And then we were talking on the thing, so I hadn't been looking at their picture. I don't know, but it was a woman, and we were supposed to be meeting up. And she asked me something about some money or something. Like, I'm sitting here giving her good information and knowledge and spiritual perspectives and all this stuff. Then she said, yada yada. Then we were supposed to meet up. Then she was telling me about some money, like some gas money. I said, I'm straight. I'm good. I don't need it. I'm paying you any money. Not for any gas or anything like that. Not when you said you were, you know what I mean? But had it been different, had it been the other way around, and she had came and see me, and then she was doing some assignments on me, I would have been straight. I wouldn't have did it. I would have said, I'm good. I don't want any communication. I'm good. I feel like if you're getting targeted through orchestrated gang stalking, like gang stalking is like an umbrella term. If somebody is being financed to follow you around and do all this different types of stuff, and you're telling them what's going on, and they know that you don't want this to be happening, and they're doing that to you, they're not your friend. They're not your friend. They're trying to pull you into something. So I wouldn't, you know what I mean? Like, I'm good. I'm good. You know, I'm good. So that's one of the things right there. What else do they do? I'm trying to think. What else do they do? It can get high. Your level of targeting can get high. It can get really high. There's people, you'd be surprised how high of a level it can get. How high the mimicking and all that stuff can get. People would be surprised. It can get so high. It can get so high. You'll think you're tripping. You'll think you're there's a movie out there called The Game with Michael Douglas. That movie, in some ways, it was accurate for gang stalking. In some ways, it was just a movie. It's just a movie that Hollywood puts out. It doesn't really mean, you know what I mean, just for entertainment. But there's some accuracy to it. It can get pretty high. It'll make you wonder, how is this stuff being done? That's what's tripping me out. Some of it's basic. You walk to the store, through the store owner, through the employees or whatever. The employees are asked, when such and such comes in, wear this or whatever, and make sure you do this. Yeah, okay, that's simple. That's a store. That's not a big deal. People that you see in the public sector every day, it's easy to get them to do it. It doesn't matter who they are, what their profession is. If it's a place that you can walk into in the public sector, it doesn't matter. They'll be doing it. It doesn't matter. But there's places out there that there's venues out there that you can't walk into where there is no office door for the public. There's realms out there like that. Lo and behold, what people think. And so it makes you think, how is this? A normal human mind, a normal human man can't do that. They may have brilliant human men involved with it. That, yeah, of course. But these aren't men. Now, I'm not talking about gang stalking in regular society where you walk around and you get people following. I'm talking about the whole shebang. It's not men. They may look like men, but it's not men though. Just the whole society and just everything, just everything. And so it's led me to answer some really crucial questions about what am I? Then what is a man? Then what am I? And where am I at? Where is the world? What's going on? It's designed for the people who. There may be a powerful spiritual dynamic to it. I think there is a spiritual dynamic to it, a very powerful spiritual dynamic to it. Like the movie The Game, where it says players want it. And he went back to the office floor and it wasn't even there. It wasn't even there. I don't. It's a trip. I'm looking at the poster. I got the poster on the computer right here of the game. I'm looking at the picture. I don't know. They've shown whatever type of power is behind the ultimate powers and stuff. They've shown me a lot, you know, and what's been shown to me is you're not like them. And you have the ability to influence them. And we feel threatened about your ability to influence them. Talking about regular people in society, the sheep, so to speak. And I don't mean that disrespectful. But that's what's been shown to me. Is our religions, in our schools, and all of our stuff doesn't work for you. That's what we keep for the regular people. And you have the ability to show the regular people something else. But we own these people. So you have to find out where you belong. That's the message. Ultimately, that's the message I've gotten. But it's from a more powerfully spiritual thing, though. Now, this may actually be. I've had so many encounters, especially with the cars coming, where I was walking near death experiences that are very frightening that I don't think an average person goes through. And I got a strong mind. You know? Got a strong I've been through been through some things, but my mind is still sharp. I'm still there. So I don't know. I think I'm good. I'm messing with trying to build some sort of thing with everyday people and stuff like that. I just don't. I don't see any. That's why I come on here. I'm doing. I do my esoteric research and stuff. But I don't see much value in trying to go out and create a lot of public awareness and speak to a lot of different people and become like there's people out there who consider themselves activists and stuff like that. I think if word is not being formulated from the general consensus, then the average person isn't gonna, even if they know it's real, even if the average person knows something is true and real, unless it's told to them by what they perceive to be an authority, it's not going to mean anything. Because they're always going to be looking for the guy above them. The guy to the left, the guy to the right, the guy under them, the guy over there, the guy over there. You know what I mean? That's what they're looking for. And so to waste time on that is silly. There's only going to be a few people who are really going to be able to get anything like that. So now, what I said in the past, I came out with some material in the past about beating. I said I beat gangsters. That's something the only person I'll ever beat. So when I tell people when I say beat gang stalking, it doesn't mean that you're not going to be followed anymore or you're not going to be gang stalked. That's not what that meant. I say beat gang stalking, you beat it for yourself. You beat it for the day-to-day life that you live. I don't really believe anybody's been beat unless they believe they've been beat at something. Failure is a state of mind. I don't think there is a such thing as you say such and such is, you know, such and such is doing this and such. You know what I mean? It's in your consciousness. It's a spiritual agreement you have. I've been beat. I've been beat. You have to say that. You have to agree to that state of consciousness. So when I said you beat gang stalking, you do what you can every day you can at whatever level you can. Regardless of what people want to bring to you and how people want you to feel about yourself, that has how they feel. However somebody wants you to feel about yourself, that's how they really feel about themselves. That's how they view themselves. So you do what you can every single day to try to straighten your life out and take care of the things around you. I can't control if I go to the store. I can't control if somebody's gonna do all this silly stuff and jump up around and do all these assignments. I don't got time to sit there and explain to them what's going on for 20 minutes or an hour or whatever. Like that's on them, man. That's on them. Chances are they don't. Again, they don't even know where they're at. They don't even know what's going on. They don't even know. They don't even know. You know what I mean? They don't even know where they're at. All they know is they're gonna wear this silly color shirt and jump around like a monkey and all this stuff. So it's cool. I mean, I'm not tripping off it. Like they can have that. I don't let it bother me. That's on them. And even better for me because now I don't want to be bothered with them. That's even better for me. They sell their children out every day and they don't even know it. Spiritually, psychologically, economically, all across the country, all across the world, people sell their offspring out every day, every single day, and they don't even know they're doing it. They're doing it in ways that they don't even know what's going on. So I'm sitting back looking at it from my perspective, and I'm thinking, they don't even, you know what I mean? Like, they don't even know where they're at. They don't even know what's going on. I should feel honored I should feel honored that this stuff's happening to me. In reality, I should feel honored about it. Most people live and die and no one even knows they existed. Somehow I'm able to have a hell of an impact. So you gotta look at the bright side of it, you know what I mean? Like, this is telling me that I'm an entity who can get stuff cracking. Like, there's something about me, I'm a modern mystic. I, that's, you know what I mean? You gotta try to look at it. There's all different sorts of ways of looking at stuff.